Okay, good morning, everybody. Today we're going to make a two-legged throwing dummy. So the first step is to get some wood or PVC pipe and cut it to your height. Okay, however high you are, plus 2 inches. And once you've cut it, then there is this pipe foam covering insulation, and then all you're going to be doing is sticking that. This is not the same size, but you're going to stick it in there and push it all the way to the very end. Okay, you push it all the way to the very end. Sometimes it's going to be really, if you have the 1-inch pipe, it's going to be really hard to push in, so put some baby powder in there, or you can have seams here, you can cut it and then tape it. So once you tape that, now then if you have a thick blanket, you can just use the blanket and cover this. But what I'm also doing is that I am going to add a 3-inch pipe to it. And what I'm going to do is, this one I'm not going to try to stuff through, but it has a seam, so I'm going to cut that seam. I'm using a razor blade to cut the seam and open it up. And then I'm going to stick that pipe in there. And I'm going to stick that in here, like that. Still going to be a pretty snug pipe. It's going to be pretty snug. When we do it. But just hold it in there. And this way you don't need so much a thick of a blanket. I'm going to do this. Now I see that there's some extra here, and I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to save everything that I cut off because you're going to need it a little bit for later. And if you had a PVC pipe or a piece of wood that was 6 foot and you had to cut it, that's fine. Keep the little piece, the 2-inch piece of wood. You'll need that. You want to keep this too. So I'm going to take this real quickly and then do that for both of them. Let me say this to you right now. Here's a flush edge, and I am going to take a measurement. So take your pipe that you have that you're ready to cover, but take a tape measure and measure it 1 foot, okay? And then take a piece of tape and mark that on wherever the foot is, that 1 foot is. Here's my 1 foot mark. I'm going to put that at the bottom so that the tape is not only holding this, but it is also going to be a measure. I'm going to need this measurement here. Okay. So then I'm just going to tape all of this here. You don't need to cover it too much. You just want to secure it. Make it nice and tight.
Thanks again for doing this, Andre.
No problem. It's my pleasure. My fun time during the day. Okay. I'm going to use this end here because it's a little uneven for my mark. I'm going to use this point right here. So I'm going to use this end instead of that end. And this is going to be my flush end, so I'm going to, you can do this also with the tape, like the very end at your flush end. This is going to be like your foot. It's going to be the bottom, and it would be really good to take a couple of pieces of tape and go like that. You can do that now. You know that's going to be your foot part. So make 2 of these, okay? Make 2 of these, and then get a blanket, okay? So make 2 of these. I have 2 of them here, and they're both marked at that spot, okay? Mark them right at the spot. One, put that one. I got 2 of these. And what I want you to do, instead of the blanket right now, what I want to do is I want to make the arm, okay? I want to make the arms before I cover. I'm going to take this and put this aside. And I want to make the arms. Now, what I'd like you to do is you take that another PVC pipe or wood, cut this 2 feet 2 inches, okay? You just cut it in that, and you can cut them shorter if you want to, but I kind of like to have long arms, so cut it 26 inches. I like to have some long arms. And then take another PVC and take another pipe covering. Okay, so you have a pipe covering and you have these 2. And then what I want to do is first I want to take this and maybe cut 4 inches off of this 6-foot pipe or pipe covering, okay? So get a pipe covering, cut it 4 inches, cut 4 inches of it off. Because it'll be too long, and it still might be too long for you, but at the very end you can cut it as well. So I'm making that cut at 4 inches off. I can always keep everything. Then take your PVC pipe and fit it into the one end. Mina, you need baby powder for this one. So you're not going that far. And then take the other side, okay, and put it in down here on the other side. And these are going to basically be your arms. Okay, so now that you have your arms, okay, so these are going to be the arms. So now here's what you're going to do. I'm going to cover this again with another big one. But first, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up. See, I have here's where the 2 pipes are in the end here. I'm going to take this middle and just open up the middle, and then get an old t-shirt or socks or something, and you're going to need to fill that middle. All right, let me get all my this is all of my stuffing and stuff. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some old socks that I don't wear anymore. White socks are out. I don't use them anymore. I'm going to stuff them in here like this. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we have to secure this part of it. The reason why is because when you wrap it around, you'll see you wrap it around, it'll just rip. So we want to secure this. So I'll put a couple of 3 socks in there. And then I'm going
Would
to take
rubber tubing work or hosing
rubber
for the
tubing.
same purpose?
Now, rubber tubing would work. Rubber tubing is a little more expensive, but you can do it. And this is just as good. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
And what I want you to think about doing on this one is to do a starter roll of putting them together. So what I'm doing here, and I'm just pressing these things together like this, and then rolling it. I have lots of tape I pre-cut. It's not going to be good anymore. But, and you're going to reinforce this again, okay? But it is important to get it really strong. So we're going to reinforce it again, but, and if you are faster than I am and you're able to do this, it would be good to get an old t-shirt out. Duct tape is the best stuff in the world. I just don't know how to use it well. Should get stock in this company and use it for everything. So I'm just securing that. We're going to double secure it again. I'm going to double secure it again. And make sure you go all the way to the past the edge of it, where the wood is. Go onto the wood or the PVC pipe. So I've done that. Now, so what happens is this. You see how it'll start to rip? If you pull it like this, it will start to tear. So what I've done is I've taken I just made one of these. So I took a t-shirt and I cut up the side of it so it doesn't have any middle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this around this here. I'm going to wrap it all the way around it. Just keep wrapping it. I'm going to do the same thing by using some tape. And then I'm going to tape the whole thing all together. So I'll show you what I mean. So I'll just do it. You can do this with me. I'm just putting some tape here. Okay. Starter. Because we want to make this a little stronger.
This is very crafty.
It is arts and craft at its worst or best, however you want to look at it.
Wow.
But
Well, we haven't gotten to the paste yet.
the good thing about it is that this thing is going to last. It will last, and it will be light enough, but also strong enough. You can do grappling with it. You can grapple with them.
They're not going to have hinges in the joints, I think.
That, you know what, I was thinking about doing that, and I might still do that. But no, we don't have, it won't have hinges, but I was thinking about doing that.
Yeah, I saw a couple things online about some grappling dummies, the seated kind, and how to like do those with a skeleton on the inside of them. And
Yeah,
I was saying, yeah, that sounds like work.
it is an interesting thing, and again, I was going to joint them and have some hinges in them for certain places, but I decided we'll just do it like this. Hopefully we won't be in this quarantine too long, but even after we are able to get together, like I was saying, we'll be able to use these dummies instead of working out with each other. The art of Sansu is really difficult because we have to, we learn it by working with each other. So you have to find a decent substitute. And this is the best I came up with. Now, so here I'm just doing these starter rolls of it, tightening it. But the idea is that I want it to be like that so that it doesn't break. All right.
And then have it like the tape all the way around all of it, right?
Yes. So that's my next thing I'm going to do. Is just put all the way around it. Okay. I'm going to put some tape from here all the way down to here and just wrap it around. All right. So I'm going to pause the recording and then come back to you with this. Okay, so you've done that. It should be like this now. The arms, and this is bent, and if you bend it, it won't snap, it won't break. Okay, you secured it with socks inside, t-shirt on the outside, and then covered it with tape. So it should look like that. Now, if you have a thick blanket, you don't need to add the extra, 3-inch thing. But I'm not going to use a blanket. I'm going to use half of a towel. Okay, so I'm going to add this extra piece here. So I'm going to do the same thing and carefully use a razor blade and open it up. I feel like I'm opening up like a snake. Cool. So I'm going to open it up and then just get one side flush. And then I'm going to put that in there. And if you want to just use if you have lots of pipe insulation, you can use the smaller pipe insulation, cut it, and then just wrap it around. It doesn't have to completely cover it, because this will completely cover it. So it has this big gap here. But that's okay, because that's how big I want the arms. And the towel I'm going to use is that thick. So I'm doing this little extra step if you want to. You don't have to make it to wrap it as much as you did the smaller one, but it would be good to really get it tight around there. So I do it here first. I get my flush pen. One of the best ways I do it is just get the tape and then just tighten it and then roll it. And I'm going to do that all the way down, but just in maybe every 4 inches, do that, or maybe 6 inches, depending on what you want to do. Yeah, this is going to be covered with some material, so this part here where the other one is, I'm going to kind of keep them a little tighter here, just for extra measure. It'd be good if you can have somebody just cut the tape for you. Pull and cut the tape. So do that all the way down. I'll pause the recording so we don't have to go too far. And I'll come back on when I'm done. Okay, so now you should have thick arms and should be able to bend. Okay? Should be able to bend. So now, let's cover that with just a little material so that it, when you hit it, it doesn't break. So I've got a pretty long blanket here. And I take this blanket, I've cut it in half. I just cut it in half, and now I have two pieces. So what I'm going to do is take take the end and push against there. Okay? And so, okay, let me show you a little trick here with this. Remember that line when we made this, when you made your body and leg, we took 1 foot off and we made a line of that, okay? So my blanket's pretty long. So I'm going to measure from here, see where my line is, okay? And then take the blanket and fold it to that spot so that my blanket is folded on that line. Now, if you don't have a long blanket, it really doesn't matter. Or if you want to just cover the whole thing, it'd be fine because you can do it later. But this is a long blanket, so I'm going to do it this way. And this part here will be my body, or the body, okay? And give it more girth and so you can hit it more. So I kind of fold this blanket over, so it'll be thicker here than it is here. And then what I'm going to do is kind of do the same thing. Good old duct tape, start on the very end of it, and put it there. I'm going to do that just periodically up and down this blanket. Periodically on the blanket here, and at the top. So I've got this is really my leg, and so I'm gonna take that over. I'm gonna pull the blanket a little bit so that it's kind of tight, and fasten the next one. Pull it just a little bit, fasten it. Just pull it a little bit so it's a little taut. Yeah, and I'm still off a little bit, but you'll be able to, like, it's not exactly on that line I cut or that I measured, but it'll be okay. You don't have to be perfect about that. And so then I'm just rolling this up to give my legs a little girth. I'm going to do this a little better this time. I'm going to roll it so that it's flush at the end. And if it's a little off, it's really okay because we can cover it. Take it off. So once you have this, now this is your legs and body. So then just take that up for me. And then do that with the other leg as well. So I'm going to do it like this. Once again, different places. You can use as much tape as you want. Now remember, this is going to be inside of your, like your pants or your coveralls or whatever you're going to use, or your gi bottoms. So you want it to be as tight as possible because you're going to be moving it and sweeping them and the legs a lot. So you want that kind of secure. And you can, again, you can use as much as you feel you need to. So I'm gonna pull that and then just roll it up here, keeping this end as flush as possible. And like that. So that's pretty tight. But I'm gonna do this and just secure a couple of really good ties around it. And so do that to both legs, and then I'll be back. Okay, so now you should have two of these. Okay, looking something like this. Now, even though see these are uneven, don't worry about that. We'll fix that later. But should have two of these. These are the legs and the body. And now all you have to do is get the arms. And I'm just going to use a towel that I had right here. And I'm going to take this old towel. I'm going to cut it. And then I am going to secure it right on the very ends. A good thing to remember is to always take your tools and put them in the exact same place when you're done. So the scissors are supposed to be right there, and they're not. That is odd. Pretty good at doing that. Okay, 1 second. Okay, scissors right in the same spot. See that? So I take the towel, fold it, and then I'm just going to cut it in half because I don't need it to be that thick. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did to the legs and body, but I'm just going to do this on the end with the arms, okay? So once it's cut, scissors go right back. Once it's cut, I'm going to take half of it, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tape it and roll it up really tight, just like that. Okay, on this end, I'm going to roll it and tape it really tight on this end. All right, so it'll be like that, two ends, and then it'll be there. Okay, so with the arms, just wrap them and tape them the exact same way that you did the legs, which was, and make this as flush as you can. Make that one side as flush as you can. If it overlaps, it really is okay. But I want to do the same thing. You know, you need a lot of duct tape, by the way. Hopefully you guys got a lot of it. And I got the really thicker ones, so I don't have to do as much as I normally do. So I'm going to roll this and then roll that. Okay, as tight as I possibly can. And then we'll come back, okay? You do that and I'll be back. I'm going to just show you this. I put the two ends, these are the arms, and I'm just going to put one little extra tape, like right on the, right where the edge of it is. I'm just going to secure it just a little bit right there. This won't, it shouldn't move around. Depending on what you put over it. But I'm going to use overalls on mine. So I'm going to make sure I secure that. So now you should have your body and legs and arms foamed and covered. Okay? Next thing I'd like for you to get out is old pair of underwear.
This is a moment of weakness.
We'll do the underwear a little bit later, but right now, you should have, we're going to take the body and we're going to measure, do some measuring. So, but first what we're going to do is that we are going to peel back that big layer, that thick foam, and I'm going to peel it back. And I'm going to, it's basically, I'm measuring this to my height, so I'm kind of putting it right on my shoulder length. So I already measured before with the blanket. So what I want to do is I want to pull that back. And then what I like to do is to kind of get the arms and put the arms just like this. And so I have that much more for the head. So in other words, let me show you what I'm thinking, what I'm measuring right now. So I lay the arms out. I pull this back. I want to keep one foam on there if I can. And I'm gonna go like this and put it up to where this is kind of where the shoulders are. And so I have this much, like 6 inches for the head, okay? So it's kind of like that. And that should be enough. I might want a little bit more. Might want a little bit more for the headgear or the head. Because this foam goes down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one as my template. And I'm going to undo the blanket as well. And I'm going to pull the blanket down just a tiny bit all around. And then pull the foam back where my line was originally. Now I'm going to do it like that. So I've got, how much do I have? So I have around, 1 foot, 11.5 inches, which is perfect. So I pulled it back. I'm going to leave the foam on, okay, like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tape this up here. And that's going to be kind of the shoulders. Or like right, the head, it's going to sit right on the shoulders. You'll see what I mean. But this is a little tricky part. I hope I explained that right. Remember I had 2 foams? I had 2 pieces of foam, the small one and the big one. If you don't have 2 pieces of foam, don't worry about it. Just pull the blanket back and give yourself, basically stand it up next to your shoulders and see how my shoulders are? It's right at that edge of the blanket. That's what I want to do. And that's what I'm doing. I'm peeling it back to that part right there. All right. And then I'm just going to tape that up. I'm going to tape it up pretty nice and solid. And that's going to be more the girth that I need for the body. Okay. So I'm pulling this back like that. That's why I got this big, the larger tape. And I'm putting this in the middle here. Pulling that back as strong as I can be using all my strength. And then I'm gonna keep doing that. You can do this when it's sitting, lying down too. But I wanted to show you what I'm doing. So now I'm just going to really tape that up. You can even tie it if you want to, but I want to tape it up really strongly. We're not really creating shoulders, but what we're creating is a base that my arms can sit on top of securely. and it'll help me to stay on there and secure and to move a certain way that we want it to be. So I'm really tying this up well. I'm taping it up really well, as much as I can. And I'll put one more at the very top of it. Into that. So I'm going to do that to the other one, so that you have this like this. You have that much, and the shoulders will fit here, and then the head will fit there. So do that to the next one, okay? And then I'll be back. Okay, so once I've got these two together, and you notice there, you know, when I pulled it back, it's thick on this side and thin on that side. I kind of did that for a reason, because I want those thin parts to come together. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to measure this. I'm going to stand them apart, okay? And maybe just 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet apart, if you want, so they can actually stand. And then have these two like that, okay? I don't want them too far apart, not like in a horse stance, maybe just 2 feet apart. And I want this, because I want it to stand like that. Okay, let me show it to you if I can bring it around here and lower this. So what I'm doing is that I am standing these apart like this, okay? And they're maybe feet apart, and I'm holding this right in here, okay? Now I can do this while it's lying down, and I'll show it to you. Okay, so I'm gonna put this back on the table. And what I'm gonna do is I want to tie these together, okay, and have this separate like that, okay? But I want to have these together. I'm going to tie that together, okay? And I'll show you how I do that. I'm just going to lie it down for a minute. Get the rope that I suggested that you get. Get maybe 6 feet of it. The great thing about being a fisherman, you learn really cool knots, or a Boy Scout. But in my neighborhood, we didn't learn a lot of knot tying in Boy Scouts. Did a lot of boxing instead. So what I'm doing is this. I'm putting this around like that. I'm taping this, and I'm going to wrap it around. I'm gonna wrap it around like 3 times towards me. And then I'm going to thread it through. You can tie any knot you want to here, but I need a knot that I can, I don't even know the name of this knot. I need a knot I can pull it tight. So I put it through the three loops I've done, and I pull it so that it turns into this thing I can pull. I want to be able to pull it tight. So I'm going to stand this up first. I'll just put a little bit like that. Stand this up. Make sure that the 2 ends are there. Stand it up, feet apart, and so that's how it's going to be. I'm going to lock it right in here like that. So I'm just going to tighten it, pull it real tight here, and that's going to be my fastened bow. So before I do anything, I just See how that goes? Yeah. Okay, so I just want to tighten it real tight here so that it stands. Okay. So then once I have it secured where I want it to be, I lie it down. And then I'm really gonna secure it. Gonna tie it again. Little square knot. Tie it around and even through it. So basically, just secure that really well as best you possibly can. As best you can. So I'm going to leave that like that. I'm not going to tape it just yet, but I want to make sure that I've got this and it is spreadable and the right length. That'll work. So I'm doing that. Tying it like that. Okay. And then I'll show you what that, then I can do a little measuring so in case I have to cut anything. So I lay the arms like this. I put it here like that. And I move these up. They're going to be like that. So, you know that I said to keep a lot of pieces? Keep pieces, extra pieces of the wood and PVC pipe. Because if you notice here, I lay this here. Can you see that little space that's here? That's around the arms. So I'm going to fill that space by taking a piece of pipe and putting it like that. Okay? I don't have a lot for a head here. So either I can move this down a little bit, move this down, or I can add a little PVC on top. That's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to add this little PVC pipe here. So I'm going to tape it to it right here. So when here it's on there flush, and it can close around there. So the thing is to make this as even as you possibly can. Okay, make these as even as you possibly can. You see this one's a little higher up. So I'm going to push this one down. I'm going to take all this off and push this down a little bit so that they're even. Okay? I want these to be even because the shoulders are going to basically fit like right on top of it like that. See that? It's going to fit right here. I only have that much for a head. I might need just a little bit more, but I want these to be even. And the extra pipe, you see how these are crossed? The extra pipe goes in here so that when it lays flat. Like that. I have a little extra pipe right in here like that at the cross. Hope that makes sense. Like that. I'm going to tape that here, but I'm going to go on pause and move this down just a tiny bit because when I spread them out, this one's a little high and I don't want it to be cattywampus. Great word, cattywampus. I wish I could be able to label that. Didn't know how I was going to use it in a sentence. Just did. Cool. What I've done is I have cut my, I just cut this so it's even. So these are even here. So I cut them so that they're even. And it's here like this, and it's kind of standing. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little piece right here. Okay. I'm going to add a little piece right here. So when I put the arms on, it secures it. All right. Let me make sure that you can see that. Move that back. So I'm just putting a little piece right here so it's flush when I put the arms on, okay? So I take a little piece and fit it right inside of here so that it's flat. All right, so I'm gonna do that. And so I'm making this the back now, okay? Making it the back. I'll put that piece in there. Now I was just gonna tape it in there. I'm not gonna tape it too hard so that it is obstructing the movement, okay, of the body, but it adds a little bit of the security to it. So just like that, nothing big, just on that one piece there. So before I attach the arms, what you want to do now is to do a measurement, okay? And I'm going to do 2 measurements for you. Keep doing that. I'm going to do 2 measurements for you. I'm going to do a measurement with, let's say I'm going to use these pants. So basically what I want to do is you want to put the pants on, okay? I'm going to put the pants on. What you want to do is you want to measure the inseam. You want to find the inseam. So I put the pants on, like dressing a drunk uncle. So I put the pants on and I make sure that the pants are at the, at the bottom here like that. And wherever the inseam is, okay, that's what I want to do. I want the inseam. Now, if it's not perfectly correct or whatever, it's going to be okay because you can have high waters if you want to. I'm going to have a uniform, so I'm going to measure. But what you want to do is measure where the inseam is. Right where the inseam is, you want to put your hand on the inside of it. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm finding where this is here. Okay, on the inseam, down. Now I know mine is 33 down from here, so you could measure from here down to the floor and just cut across. But I like to put the pants that I'm going to be putting on there and then measure the inseam and mark it with my hand where the inseam is. Okay. I'm going to mark that with a little piece of tape. Now I'm going to do 2 marks because I'm going to be using I'm going to use no, I might do this because you guys maybe don't have overalls. So I'm going to measure the inseam here. Just kind of feel around where it is. It's just a little uncomfortable, I guess. And so I'm measuring where the inseam is. Okay, now I take the pants off. And so I have a mark where the inseam is, okay? So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take some underwear, okay? And these are large, big ones, okay? Or you can take some boxer shorts or whatever, and I'll put those on. The reason I want to do this is because we want to make a groin too. I want to make sure that we have a groin that we can knee and kick. And then I'm going to put that down right towards the inseam. I'm going to measure where the inseam is. So my legs are a little long. So I just put the underwear on, and you have to kind of measure, keep measuring it. You stand it up. You see if the inseam is at the right spot. Okay. Good place to knee. You can measure it to yourself if you like. So I'm just finding where the inseam is and where the pants were. Once I have that down, then I'm just going to lay it there. I'm going to mark it, not really mark it. I'm going to put some tape just along the edge of it, so it stays right where it's supposed to be. Now you can adjust this. You can adjust it so it doesn't have to be like perfectly measured, but do your best to find the right inseam and measure it down. Then I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull. I've done that. I'm just going to pull the pants on the side like this because we're going to have to pull it. Yes, so that's a little low, a little high. So I'm going to move it down because once you pull it, you pull the underwear on the side like this, you'll see where the inseam goes. And my inseam was a little high, so I'm just going to pull this down. I'm going to take my tape off and pull this down. Okay, and then I'm going to pull the sides of it. Yeah, so that's where the inseam is. So that's where it is. Because what I want to do when I retake these sides, and then you're going to have to stuff them. But here we go. So I'm pulling this like this. I'm pulling it. So I have it like this here. It's not going to fit. I have this like this. Come over here, you can see it. So I have the underwear that's where it's marked. Okay. And then I'm going to pull this here like that and then tape that. Okay. And then once I do that, I'm going to tape that here and then I'm just going to start stuffing the groin. And you know where your front is because where you put that tape, where you put that extra piece is in the back for the shoulders. I hope that makes sense. I'll say it again. So I'm marking where the underwear is, where the groin is, and then I'm pulling it like that so it's secure. Okay, because you do want it nice and tight. So then I'm going to take some tape. Hold that like that. And this is just a preliminary. I'll do it tighter later. Add some more a little bit later. I just want to make sure that I got where the inseam is, where the groin is. Yeah, so once I have that down, okay, I'll do another really quick measuring by standing it up, standing right behind it, kind of close. My groin is there, the groin is there. Have it there, knee it a few times, that's a good spot. So once I've established that, then I'm going to tape it up a little bit. And this is when you want to make it sure that it's really secure. Because we're going to stuff this. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just wrapping the underwear around it. I'm finding out where the inseam is. Once I have that there, I'm securing it so that I can add a groin and a behind. You want both. Because if we're going to do throws, you need to know where that spot is. Make sure I've got the right length and everything. Still good. They can close up. You want them to stay apart. So I'm just securing the underwear. You don't want the underwear to be too tight. All right. Yeah, but you do want it on there. It's good. Complimenting my own work on that. Good job on that. Okay, now we can add stuffing to it. Here's my lots of stuffing stuff. Towels would be good to use, other than a bunch of socks and t-shirts. anything. Basically, I'm just going to show you this. But you're going to just stuff it down in here and make it really tight and compact in there. Okay, and then once it's all stuffed in, so I'm just stuffing it. I'm just taking stuff and stuffing it in here, and I'm going to stick it all the way up to the top. Then I'm going to tie it or tape it together so that it's solid groin. Okay, you can even put a protective groin cup on there if you wanted to. If you have a protective groin cup, you can actually put that on your opponent if you wanted to do that, and put a cup on them so that it secure and like that. So you can even put a cup on it. That sometimes hurts when you need it, but I'm not going to do that. I just happen to have it. So just stuff the groin and the behind. Make sure that you give it a behind. Okay, make sure you give it a lot of behind so that you can have a place to throw your opponent. Okay, so stuff it and then I'll come back. So what I've done is that I have like stuffed my guy with lots of, I had an extra blanket. I just stuffed it in there, spread it out, and gave him a little butt as well. It's a little lopsided, but you want that buttocks part to be solid so that you can, when we throw somebody, we know that place is there. We do Hunga technique. That is definitely a balance point that we want to measure. So then once I've stuffed it all, then I'm taking some tape and just closing it up here. Just closing it up. Taking the underwear, closing it up. And somebody asked a question. I tape the bottom of it too so it doesn't fall out. So I tape the bottom of the underwear. So it looks like that when it's done. Really should have told people to make sure you have lots of duct tape because, you know, we're fastening everything together with it. I just want to, doesn't have to look pretty, but we do need it to have stuffing. And I'm not going to tape this just yet. Close. Not going to tape it yet because I might need to stuff something down there. So this is all we have so far. Just we have the stuffing there, we have the buttocks, we have a good groin, we can knee. And now what I want to do is I want to put the arms on, okay? And I also want to make some chest, a chest for it, okay? And you can put your chest protector over it. And I'm going to show you how to make a chest protector if you don't have one. But I'm going to fasten the arms on first. And the way I'm going to do that, remember we had this little piece, extra piece here, so it can be flat. All right, so now I'm going to take the arms and I'm going to place them on here like this, just like that. I'm going to measure it so that it's even here. And if they're not even, later you can cut them if you need to. But I'm doing this and I'm putting this here like that. So I'm putting it on top, making a little cross, and then I'm going to secure that to there. So you're going to need rope again, and I might need lots of it. 12 feet of it. And I'm going to do my best to secure this right at that same spot here. And And what you can do is that you can get it right where you want it to be first. Measure it twice. Cut once. Keep measuring it. It's all right, a little off. Put that down like this. Then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tape it just a little bit, just so it doesn't move. This is just so it doesn't move when I'm tying it up. So how I'm going to do that, I'm going to bring this underneath from here. Okay. And then I'm just going to make that tie again. Go like this. Go 1, 2, 3, and then I bring it through. Bring that down and through those 3 loops I just did. And what that allows me to do, I tighten that. And it's like a little noose that allows me to pull it really tight, I think. No, I didn't do that right. Do that again. I'm not going to edit this, so you can see that it sometimes even MacGyver messes up. Has to do it again. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and then put it down and through. That should do it. Yeah. So then I'm going to really make sure I have it in the right spot. And I am going to really tie it there. Once I have that slip knot done, then I can go this way and just keep wrapping it around like an X fashion through the body as well. Up. I hope you're being able to see this. I can hold the camera differently. So what I'm doing here is I'm just fastening the arms to the body. See that? Just fastening the arms to the body. And I'm just tying it on here as tight as I possibly can. Just going in that an X. Keep doing it. Pulling it tightest each time. Wrapping it around the arms. Just wrap it around the arms and the body and the neck. And go up through the body everywhere I can. And just fasten it. I hope you're getting this. I hope this makes sense. So just fastening to the body. That's all I'm doing. Making it as tight as possible. Yes. Once I feel satisfied that it's tight, I'm going to tie it off. Tie it off to this one here. Should have a head camera thing you can see down this, but I think you know what I'm talking about. I'm not showing you how to tie it, but it's going to be tied to the body. Okay, it's actually pretty tight. And just be really anal about this and do it even tighter. Then I'm going to tie this around here as well, just to secure that. And tie all that together. Okay, then, just because I love duct tape, just duct tape it all together. Yes, so like that. So now I've got the arms, I've got the body. Okay, got the groin. Now what I want to do is give this middle section, I want to give this middle section some girth. All right, so, and this is not really heavy. So if you have another blanket, you can wrap it around. You want to make a chest protector. One of the ways you can do that is to get a cardboard box and fold it. Measure it to the groin. That can be on the chest. And then tie a blanket around the cardboard box, just so that it's protected. Okay, and tie that around there like that, so you have this here. And this is not going to really last, but what you're going to do is put this right here, and then wrap the whole thing in blankets. Okay, in one, maybe just one blanket, just to give it some girth and some fullness of it. Okay, so I'm going to leave this camera on to do that real quick, just to have this chest protector, even though I could probably get a chest protector. Or if I give this to someone who has a chest protector, you can take this off and put the chest protector on, or even put it on as extra. So I'm just basically tying this around it. Just to put it on. I measured that cardboard box earlier, but you can do that as well. And just fold up a big cardboard box just so you have something to hit. Okay, something solid to hit. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a blanket and wrap that around. Okay, find a blanket and wrap it around, or a towel and wrap it around. And I'll be back for that. Okay, so I'm going to show you this. I found an old blanket, and I'm going to put the chest protector on. I'm going to put it on my dummy here. Put the chest protector on my dummy. Here it is. I'm going to put him on here like this. And I'm going to tape that on like that first, okay? Really snug around the body. So I just wrapped it with a towel, cut it to size, and now if you have a chest protector, you might want to give this a little girth by just putting a blanket around it and then put your chest protector on. But I'm going to use this to show if you don't have one. So I'm putting this here, kind of taking the size and turning them a little bit so it contours a little bit more. And then I'm going to tape that. This I'm going to tape a lot, okay? I'm going to tape this quite a bit. And I'm going to tape it all the way around, okay, just so it stays on tight. And I'll be back. So record the knot, okay? How I make the knot so that pulls real tight. It's just a slip knot. So I have the two like this, and I bring this around 1 time, 2, and 3, like that. And then I take that end and I put it through, back and through the knot. I put it back and through those loops. Kind of put my thumb and finger in there to open it up, then I put the string back through it. Once it's through it, then I tighten.
And then it's a noose.
Then noose like that. Pull that really tight, and then I can make a noose with it. And then that helps the starter knot to really tie the shoulders to the body, okay?
Got it?
I'm going to show you how I'm doing the body thing. I'm putting it around here like this and wrapping tape all the way around it. Someone just said it's a production, and it kind of is. It is a couple hour type of thing. So now I'm going to take the blanket that I measured and just cover it. Take the blanket and cover it. Now, if you have a chest, it's going to be really easy. You just put a put this towel around it. Just so you want as much body girth as you want, and then put your chest protector on. So just give a little bit of, body to hold. So when you're throwing it, you have to feel something. And then we're just taping it. Or you can tie it. If you ran out of duct tape, you can tie it. Yeah, okay. Once I get that started, then you can duct tape it as much as you want. Whatever you feel is necessary. And I'm going to wrap it all the way around. Yes. So now you have a fairly good dummy, not a lot of head, big head, big chest. So let's see. Let's say you don't have overalls and you're going to use a hoodie. So I'm going to measure this. I'm going to measure this first, okay? Because later, what you're going to do next is you're going to pull the arms like this and then tie them so that they are close in like that, okay? And these arms are long. So once you can cut them, whatever you want to do. But I want to just get this in here. Let's put some pants on him. Just because he's feeling uncomfortable. Let's see if the pants. I have like 3 or 4 of these dummies hanging around here. I don't know if you can see them. And I just place them near the windows. Like so. I've got all over the place. Okay, so I'm putting the pants on just to measure it again. I think I'm going to put the overall on this one. I think it'll fit better, but we'll see. Yeah, that worked. And we were just tying it, got a nice tush. Yeah, it works. And we're just going to tie this here. Tie it really tight. Then I'm going to put this on him just to see. And the way I'm going to do that is sit him down like this. And put his hands up. Pull his hands up, put this over, see how it feels. That looks first. Yeah. Oh, I might have to cut this off. These are tapered at the end. This is tapered at the end. I want him to move. I want his hands to move. I'll roll it up for now. This is taking longer than I wanted to. So I've got my dummy here. Yeah, these sleeves are tapered right here. So I'm going to cut this so that they can move, because you want them to move, not get stuck there. But it fits. Everything is good. You can put a belt around them. This is good. Now we'll just create a head. The legs could be a little further apart, but they do stand apart. And he stands up somewhat, a little bit, just enough for him to come down. Oh, so I can hit him. Good, okay. I'm going to cut these off, and then I'll leave this on. I'm going to take it off because I want to make a head, okay? If you have a headgear, so I'm going to take this off and I'll come back and I'll show you how to make a head. Okay, so now I'm gonna make the head. I think I have enough room to make a head here. See this extra stuff? I'm gonna put that on here too, just to give it a little more body. So I don't want to waste any of the materials that I got. So I try to use it all. And I'm gonna put this in the front actually. But I'm just going to make a nice face and a head. If I had a headgear, I would still want to do what I'm doing, which is get a towel or some cloth and put it like here, okay? Like that, and then I'm going to I always tell when you get old duct tape when it does that. So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to put it on here like that. And then I'm going to wrap this around here, this. Wrap it around once. And do it again. And then I'm going to take it. Let's show what I'm doing. So I wrapped it around like this, like that. And I'm going to take this and kind of put this down here and tape it like that so that I have this. And I'm going to tape all that so we have a neck strike. That's a pretty good. Yeah, so I just wrapped the towel around it, left some room on top. And then I'm just going to tape it up. And I put some down and I moved it. I didn't wrap it completely around. I moved it down a little bit so that I can have a neck for it. This beginning part is just to kind of get it wrapped around here. I'm going to redo all this nice and tight. Really make a good solid striking neck and everything. But I just want to make a head here. Face. I'm going to stop here and then do this. And bring it down here. Okay. Bring this down here. Now, since I have a hoodie, I can put the hoodie on, and I can even kind of fasten the hoodie to this. But I'm just kind of making a little head there. See that? I'm just making this head. Gonna tape this part down here, and you can be as creative as you want to be here. I'm just putting all this down like that here. So this is going to be covered with a hoodie, so it really doesn't matter. But this part right here, I want to do here like that. Okay. So, I mean, you can cover this completely and put a little face if you want to. But what I want to show you now is that we want to take these two arms, tie rope here, and pull them in so that they're like this, around this far out. And then you can measure and see if you really want this long of an arm or not. But we want to be able to stretch this out so that the arms can stay like around here. And if they drop down, that's fine, because we can always lift one up and do it. We just don't want them like in a cross fashion. So what I'm going to do is tie these two arms by getting some rope here and taking the rope here. I hope you can see this. And then I'm taking this here and I'm going to make that same loop that I just showed you of a secure knot or a slip knot so that I can bring it around. So I want to put this right about here. Okay, right on the arm there. And really pull that. And what I'm going to do, stand them up here. And then put the arms together like this. And bring that around and see how far I want it to go. Okay, that's too much. Maybe right about there. Okay. If you can see that, I'm in your way here. I want his arms around like that. So I'm going to tie that around here, okay, so that they stay like this. They'll move in, and they will be able to move back out a little bit, but I want the arms to be right about there. Yeah, so I'm gonna tie it, so I'm just gonna fasten this side now, but the arms stay like that. They stay up. So I'm just gonna tie this nice and tight. So that should work. I have more. I'll just do this. We're almost done, actually. Okay. So I've tied the arms so that they kind of stay like this, which is good. And they still lift up and down. They don't stay in that cross fashion that we don't want. And you can pull them together as much as you want and change it as well. So let's put clothes on him. So I think he's all done, or she's all done, or they are all done. It's all done. Whatever you want to call your throwing dummy, and you can even name it if you want to. Thinking about calling all these Quincy's. I'm just putting back over it. And what I did here is I just cut the ends of this. This is taper. That way it can go on and slide up and down without it being too getting in the way. Because you do want the arms to slide. And again, you can cut the arms if it's too big. So let's see if we have enough of it. This is a tall one. It's a little taller than me, which is fine. It's good for throwing. So we have a dummy here. I'll probably take these off so I don't hit them with my fist. Or I could just close this whole thing off like this and let it be like that. But we have our dummy, our throwing dummy. And we can knee him, we can hit. Good, that's a solid punch, that's good. We can throw him. We can do hip throws with them. Put him on the table, punch him down, hit him in the groin, straighten him out. So we have a throwing dummy. And if it stands up just enough so it can lean to you, we can practice doing this move. And these arms start coming out, as you can see. So I probably will fasten them a little bit more so they really start like this, close, and they can come out like that. That's the only adjustment I'll make. I'll close these arms really close, and then the rope will stretch for it to be like that. So make sure you have a lot of duct tape, a lot of rope. That's the one thing. And then also, last thing, is see these little knobs? Usually what I do is that I just put some tape on those like this. And I tape it across like that. And then tape it across this way. That. I fasten that way. You can even leave that like this, or you can put another piece of tape like right around there. So you can do that to the feet, all the limbs. So that's our throwing dummy. You have any questions? Just let me know. And this took, it shouldn't take that, well, it took me, this was 2 hours to do it. No, 2 hours with lots of stopping. But if you have everything together, it should work out well. If you have any problems, send me an email. And hopefully we'll all have dummies in the next couple of weeks. Okay? Thanks so much. You guys have a good day. Bye now.